Hey, shout out. Watch win this weekend, but we were definitely gonna get into that. But first off, we kind of want to just chill out and maybe even have a moment of silence. Can we cut the music for Lavelle Davis Jr., Devin Chandler, and Deshaun Perry, University of Virginia football players that was gunned down from a shooting on the campus. Let's have a moment of silence for those guys, man. All right, let's go. Beat the shit out of Philly.
Time to get ignorant.
Next.
Let's go. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. What is good? What is cracking, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is November 15th. Damn. Here we go, Red. November 15th. It's Victory Tuesday, Terry Tuesday, whatever you want to call it. And to help bring in the post-game commentary on what we're calling Slye and his big family stones on episode 162 for Commandus, we're bringing in our guy, Terrance Perry, a.k.a. Mean Green 1985.
Boo!
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, come on, give me more.
And for those in the audio crowd, I'm your boy Steve. That was Dev on the intro. We got Phil up here, and we're joined by Terrance, our boy Mean Green. So, thank you for tuning in, everyone. Let's kick this joint off. So, Mean Green, how you feeling, man?
Pretty much like hell. That was a pretty bad victory, a pretty bad loss. I'm sorry. We don't win anymore because you all beat us. In gratitude of being, the first team to beat us, I thought I'd bring out the championship belt for you all. Congratulations for
the last great WWE championship belt right there.
Was that the
undisputed title?
Is that the Goldberg belt, man?
Yes.
No,
this is the undisputed.
That's the JBL belt.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The Brock Lesnar belt.
As Phil said, the latest and greatest belt the WWE ever had.
Yup.
But no, that was an awesome victory from you all last night. It was well planned out. The game plan was to the T. When we played Houston last Thursday, everybody pretty much saw the Eagles can't stop the run. So, okay, all right. We've got some good running backs, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to implement that into our game plan.
Yep.
Penalties, turnovers, man, listen. We're going to get into it. I got some notes.
Oh, yes. The notes will be flowing tonight for sure. There are notes to be had.
Mean Green. You are brave.
He's a good
Hey, man, listen. Ride or die, fly, Eagles fly to the day I die, man. Listen, I'm a bleed green. I've been wearing this outfit all day, the hat and the hoodie, sitting in the meetings all day.
Yeah.
But
he's in the meeting for 6.5 hours today, man.
But it was definitely a good game to watch. First and foremost, I enjoyed it from beginning to the end. It had some high notes, and then they definitely had their high notes. You can't win a game when you allow the opposing team to convert 12 of 21 third downs. That was the first time we allowed so many third downs be converted since 1992. 211 passing yards allowed.
Kind of crazy.
Terry went off. And Slye looked like he had no answer for it. But the thing about it is the play action worked. When you run the ball consistently, the play action is going to work.
Yeah.
Say it louder for our fans in the back.
Oh,
when you run the ball effectively, the play action works.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Titan? Thank you for joining. Hey, all our Titans fans. Go hit it, Mr. Titan. That's our boy. Kicking it over on the Titans network. He said, thank you so much, F them birds. Did you guys beat the Titans?
Hey, man, we can't let a team that has a fictional superhero as their number one athlete, Rocky. It's fictional.
Listen. I honestly thought that our first loss was going to come against the Titans because when we lost Jordan and Davis, I on the back of it was like, we can't stop the run. We're not going to be able to stop the run. And this big boy Derrick Henry going to come through and just to go right through our line like knife goes through butter. So I honestly thought like, okay, Titans are going to beat us because we don't even play the Giants until after we play the Titans. So because we played the Giants first, I probably would have said, yeah, the Giants would probably get us a first loss because Saquon looking for that contract. So he's willing to destroy any and everybody right now. So we got to clean it up and we just move on from here. It was good that we got this loss early. And quite honestly, I know a lot of people have been saying like, oh, I can't believe y'all lost to the Commanders and everything. I'd rather lose to a division rival than to lose to somebody else outside of the division because the division rivals, they get tape before anyone else does. So y'all already had game plan tape already. Soon as we beat Houston, I'm pretty sure Ron Rivera was like, okay, let me go into the library real quick and pull out that tape. Okay, cool. Game plan, ready, set, match. And that's exactly what happened.
Right.
Taylor Heineke gave up. He commanded a phenomenal game last night. Hands off to him. Hats off to him. He just went out there and he commanded the field.
He did a great job handing that ball off.
Yeah.
He made sure that Jalen Hurts did not get any time on the field.
Right.
Because our problem is we want to sit there and we want to attack early, but they were like, okay, y'all want to attack early? Fine. We're going to go ahead and we're going to kill the clock. And speaking of clock, 40 minutes and 24 seconds for the Washington Commanders to our 19 and 36 seconds for the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. That is not going to win you football games.
For us,
not. Yes, for you all, but not for us.
Yeah. Let's get into the recap here real quick. First off, thank you for joining Mr. Titan, Marcus, Jason Horn from Facebook, Jimmy Lee Patterson from YouTube, Jesse Caldwell from Facebook. Thank you for joining. Jimmy says 8-0 isn't that have a watermark? Eagles are overrated. Jimmy's starting already, man. Jason Horn said no call face mask on the Commanders. Mr. Titan says AJ Brown's gonna go off on us. LOL. And our boy Chris McDaniel says Heineke. All right, let's get into the recap here real quick. So I'm just gonna browse through the summary of what I have for notes for the game. When we do this, Terrance talking about the same thing. While I was watching the game, I was taking notes on the game. So this is kind of a summary, a recap of how I thought the way game went down. Starting off in the first quarter, once again, Taylor, his lack of arm strength showed. There was a play where Curtis Samuel had his receiver beat, but it gets underthrown. And of course, it was a no call, which we later saw was a call against us, inverse of the play. We'll might talk about that. Charles Leno gets beat around the corner by, I think it was Sweat, and then it's a strip sack on Taylor early in the first. We get the ball back eventually, and Taylor Heineke converts some really, really good passes to Terry McLaurin, and then eventually Antonio Gibson punches it in. It's the first touchdown in the first quarter since week one for us. We've kind of been a second half team.
We have not scored on our opening drive.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
At all this season until
very, very, very crazy. On the Eagles' next drive, there was a Brandon St. Juste defensive pass interference, and that's the play that I said that when Curtis Samuel had that ball underthrown, we didn't get the call, but it seemed like the same exact play. But BSJ got hit with the DPI, but he didn't impede his path. That's okay. Jalen Hurts faked the draw down on the goal line, and then he ends up tossing a little touchdown pass over the middle to Dallas Goedert.
The infamous Tim Tebow play.
Yes. Mahomes is starting to do that now too. So I don't know if Josh Allen. I think Mahomes does it a lot. And at this point,
does it for sure.
At this point, we had 15 rushes and 5 passes towards the end of the first. That was our balance, as you were talking just a second ago, Terrance. And then second quarter, there was another play where Taylor could have hit Terry in stride over a crossing route through a duck over the middle. It was luckily it was a penalty. Then Josh Sweat went down for a left knee. Logan hit him with that low crack block, which is funny because that's kind of how Logan Thomas got his ACL torn by one of those low blocks. But it was within the rules. It was legal. It's tough. I don't want to be on the other end of that. But Taylor converted a couple good third downs to Terry McLaurin. B-Rob gets stuffed on 3rd and 1, and what does Ron Rivera do? He goes for it twice on 4th and 1. We had to delay a game. Taylor couldn't get Curtis Samuel in motion. Scott Turner's getting pissed off in the booth, like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I don't know why Ron Rivera didn't call a timeout there, especially when it was going down towards the half. But 49-yard field goal by Joey Slye. At that point, it's 14-10. And then the next possession, Derek Force gets a big interception, big return, big return, but he was ended up being down by contact, if you guys remember that. Later in the second quarter, Taylor hits Curtis a couple times over the middle for a third down conversion of 23 yards. And then later he recovered that awful bad snap from Tyler Larson over his head where he jumps, runs away, and eventually able to just throw it out of bounds, saves a play. Ron goes for it again on 4th and 1, and Curtis Samuel gets the first down on his motion across the field runs. Then we're at the 2-minute warning, and then Brian Robinson carries the entire pile 10 yards down to the 3, and then eventually punches it in with extra effort from Cosme. Cosme did something good, pushed B-Rob across the line, so that capped off a 16-play, 86-yard drive of 7 minutes.
Cosme does a lot of good. It's amazing how much better the offensive line looked with him back in the lineup.
Yep. And then the Eagles, the next series, this is where they couldn't capitalize. They just go 3 and out. And we get the ball back. I think it was like 40 seconds.
No, we had over a minute.
We look better.
It was 3 plays, 5 yards, and 33 seconds.
That's crazy.
I got notes.
I know. Antonio Gibson did twist his ankle that drive. We did burn a timeout. No one can get out of bounds. 25 seconds left. De'Ami Brown catches a huge. I think it was his first catch all year. I don't even know.
No, it's his first catch since Heineke took over at quarterback.
There you go. And then Joey Slye, Big Stone Slye, 58-yard field goal.
1 yard short of tying the franchise record right there. Franchise record 59
in the membrane.
Oh! Now, quick shot for those who weren't paying attention in the chat last night. Who holds the record
for the longest field goal?
Yes,
Graham Gano.
It would be this guy right here. Got it right. Graham Gano.
Florida State.
Yeah. All right, going into the third quarter. AJ Brown just couldn't get it going. Kendall Fuller broke up a pass on against AJ Brown. Good ball, good thrown. Kendall Fuller broke on and got it. We converted some more thirds down. There was one point in the third quarter we were 10 for 13 on third downs, and we had basically 3rd and 3, 2, 1 to go every time. It was great. And then eventually Taylor threw a beautiful pass to Terry McLaurin for 42 yards. He beat Slye fair and square. Beautiful pass. And also at this point in the end of the third quarter, we had 38 rushing attempts. Philly had only ran 22 plays at that point. We had 38 runs, and they had only run 22 total plays. And then when Taylor ended up getting sacked, settled for a 32-yard field goal, 23-14 Washington at this point. And here's a summary of the drives. 13 plays, 75 yards, 721. 12 plays, 49 yards, 630. 16 plays, 86 yards, 704. 14 plays, 66 yards, 8 minutes, 23 seconds. A total of 29 minutes, 18 seconds near the end of the third. That's crazy. And capping it off fourth quarter, Hurts converted a big third down pass to Quez, 15. And then eventually ends up being 23-21 Washington. I think I forget who scored that touchdown on that drive, but it's 23-21 Washington. I'm sorry, Devontae Smith, 11-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, I was just about to pull that up.
Yeah. And then there was a personal foul later in that quarter on, I think it was one of our guys running out of bounds. I think it was Gardner hit him.
It was Heineke, I think, was running out of bounds.
I forget who, or Curtis Samuel or someone.
No, it was Curtis Samuel.
No, it was Curtis Samuel and CJ Gardner.
CJ Gardner. Yeah.
It was a legal hit. I'm sorry.
When they did the replay, I think it looked. I
don't know. It looked like you could have called helmet to helmet on that too, but
yeah,
you could have called helmet to helmet on that one, but they called it was a late hit. But
they called a late hit. It was definitely not a late hit. Yeah,
I thought it's one of those. If they didn't call one, they would have called the other, in my opinion.
Yep. And then that later on that earlier in the fourth, that was the Dallas Goedert catch, Jamin Davis face mask, pull to the ground and fumble. That ball was going to get fumbled either way. I don't think he had to pull the face mask. But personal fouls are not reviewable. The turnover was confirmed. That's a tough break for the Eagles, but they lost that ball. And then we end up getting a 55-yard field goal. So 26-21 Washington. The next drive, Jalen Hurts connect with Quez Watkins on a bomb. He had, I want to say it was BSJ, Brandon St. Juste, beat by 10 yards, maybe. Then he stumbles, and then Brandon St. Juste doesn't quit, gets up.
Benjamin St. Juste.
From behind, recovered
Not
by Derek.
Brandon. Benjamin.
I said Brandon. I'm sorry. Benjamin St. Juste, BSJ.
BSJ.
Benji.
And then, excuse me, there was a play where we almost got a first down. Jahan Dotson was called on a offensive pass interference on that pick, which probably was just a shitty call as well. But 3 minutes left. That was a sack by Montez Sweat on third down against Hurts. It's a huge, huge third down stand. And then we ended up getting the ball back with just under 2 minutes. And then that was basically the game. Of course, we had the Taylor Heineke, I'm taking a knee. Brandon Graham tried to let up, still made contact with the upper body. I guess by the book, that's a penalty. Taylor sold it pretty good too, and that kind of sealed the deal. But before that drive, they had 3 minutes left. They had 3 minutes left to put something together, and then Montez Sweat ended up killing that drive, and they had to punt it. And then that lateral play, I don't really count that last score, but hey, ended up being 32-21 final score. That's the game recap.
So let's go back to drive number 8 for Philadelphia. That was pretty much the game. It was, and not saying that the fumble was the game, because actually it was when you look at it, but let me elaborate on why I say that was pretty much how the game was. That game was a type of moment. It was like the game for us was a joyful moment, then all of a sudden it was disappointment. I mean, you ran down all the drives. I mean, for Philadelphia, touchdown, interception, punt, touchdown, fumble, punt. And then, like you said, I'm not going to count the last game, because when you start doing that Harlem Globetrotter stuff, 9 times out of 10, it's either going to be game over or somebody's going to pick up the ball and they're going to score like they were when they were down that far. But Quez Watkins being open like that and then just fumbling, you have to protect the ball.
Yeah.
You have, regardless if you think no one's around you, you have to think that someone is around you, because you never know what's going to happen. Now there's talks about maybe they should treat that like the college rule. When you go down, you go down. I honestly hate that rule. If you're not touched, keep going, keep running.
Right.
But I'm just like, it is what it is. That was the entire
Plus college put that rule in for safety reasons, not to save dumbasses. You know what I mean? Just to be real honest, that's just a dumbass play. Why would you ever not guard the ball? You got a jumbotron up there. He knew somebody was coming. That's why he got the fuck up and took off and ran. He knew
exactly
was coming. He looked up and see nobody was around. He had time to run. But by the way, what's the guy's name? Smacked it out. The backup third.
Derek Forrest?
No, he didn't smack it out. Derek Forrest picked it up.
St. Juste hit him.
No, it was another dude that hit him, man. You got to play, Steve?
No,
it was a defensive tackle that smacked it out of it.
Forced the fumble.
Okay, all right, man. I was wrong then. My bad. But either way, that's a play of the game. Juice got squeezed a couple of times, man. If you watch the game, he got beat, and it seemed like he always got bailed out. Like I think your boy came over the top and picked him off. One time he was beat. Forrest came over the top and picked the ball off. He was beat. I mean, I like Juice, man. But it seemed like once or twice a game, you're gonna get toasted up.
St. Juste is not a guy he doesn't play well against speed receivers. He's a guy who if he doesn't get a jam on you, if he doesn't get a solid jam on you, you can beat him. He's got recovery speed, but he's not going to run step for step with a burner. And Quez Watkins is a burner.
So here's the playing question that you're talking about.
Look what it was, though. It's 1st and 20 at that.
Yeah. Wide
nice
relief nearby.
God dang, bro! How you get killed like it?
You've got to protect. You've got to protect that ball, regardless.
You know
that. You definitely know that. Look at that.
Props to St. Juste. He did not give up on this play at all.
It's like you know that two guys are around you. You've got to protect that ball.
Yeah.
Because you just beat two guys. So they're the closest ones around you. So someone is in the vicinity. You got to protect that ball.
Man, I'm telling you, he looks straight up at that camera. Watch when he falls down. He's already looking up. You know, I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Some of these comments, Aaron says, salty, man. We had some bad calls too. We gave it to the Eagles. I told you Steve had a feeling. Aaron did say he had a feeling. I said, I don't know what that feeling is. I told
y'all it's not. I'm not
Josh
scared
says,
of Philly. I told y'all.
Cabo says #juice. JB says we've been there. Yep, we sure have. And
we were there last week when we had a guy jump on the long snapper's head, man, and cost us a drop.
Yeah,
I mean, we were there, man. I mean that's crazy stuff.
It sure is, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like I said, it wasn't our night. And a lot of people can sit there and say, oh, you didn't. I honestly had that feeling going into that game. I was just like, something about this game doesn't feel right because they have a running game. Y'all have a running game, and we can't stop the run.
It's almost like a matchup.
Our fans don't think we have a running game because here's the thing. It's because Ryan Robinson doesn't have a gaudy yards per carry.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep trying to tell people, we made a living the entire Gibbs era off of 3 yards in a cloud of dust, opening up everything else in the offense. And despite the fact that you see highlights of other teams, but that mentality still can work in the modern NFL. Yeah, you're not lining up in power I and just slamming dives up the middle all day long, but you can still run the ball in a real grinded out physical style. That wears down a defense, and that makes them just that half step slower. That opens up stuff in the passing game. It opens up play action. These are the things, and I've been screaming from the mountaintops for weeks for us to do this. And I said this on Twitter. I said, if you all saw how I think it was the Falcons beat the Panthers, they ran 47 times the Panthers beat the Falcons. They ran 47 times and only threw 17 passes. I said, that's how you're going to beat Philly. And everyone's like, Philly ain't the Falcons. No. But that's how you win games. When you have a limited quarterback, they have who do the Panthers have? PJ Walker, who is basically
backup. Black
Heineke.
Yeah,
they're both XFL guys.
Yeah,
they're in the league. So you got.
I think Heineke's Black Heineke. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, shout out to my boy Owen Meehan. Owen Meehan,
on the plane.
Mean Green. Owen Meehan is an old friend of mine. We go back. We served together in the military. He is a diehard Eagles fan. I will tell you a story real quick. We were in Iraq in 2006, 2007 on a 15-month tour. We had a bet. The loser had to play. I was a Redskins fan. He was an Eagles fan. The loser had to go into the dining facility in the middle of Iraq, Baghdad, stand on the table and sing the other team's fight song. And of course, in 2006, we lost. So I had the damn Eagles fight song in my hand. I read it. I still mess it up. I misspelled Eagles at the end and EAG. I totally messed it up, but that's a good memory I had. And he filmed it, sent it back to the local news back in Philadelphia, and it was all over the news. I mean, that's one
First
memory.
Off, how are you in the military and can't spell Eagles? That's like the
I was so embarrassed and nervous to be up there. I mean, there's a lot of people in the dining center. I'm just
he doesn't want to sing that.
Yeah. That was the
and
problem.
The Eagles fans, that's the only thing they can
you tell you ain't black, because when you black, your parents make you stand up and sing in front of everybody. In case it goes on.
You don't have a choice.
Like, come on here, boys, think deep and wide.
Sometimes a loss helps refocus a team, and it does. That means we should be refocused a lot. But for the
and I like what Marcus said right there, because that's how I look at this loss. I honestly say, hey, you know what? You went 8-0. Now you lost. Now you're 8-1. Now it's time to refocus. Jalen Hurts, he continues to keep talking about the standard. And now you continue to keep going to standard, but now you've got to raise the bar on that standard. One thing I can also say is, like, yeah, he threw that pick, but that wasn't actually his fault. It just got taken away from AJ Brown.
It was a great play.
When you look at what Jalen Hurts did last night, Jalen Hurts actually did a great job on trying to get that team going and everything. Again, turnovers and penalties killed this team last night. That's what happened.
I'll say this. I think in terms of landing pinpoint passes, I felt Hurts did a better job last night than he did against us in the first game. I felt in the first game. I'll explain why.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
In the first game, I felt that he was kind of just tossing it up. Receivers were open. But even when receivers weren't open, they were receivers making fantastic catches. They're turning 50-50 balls into 75-25 balls in their favor, right? I felt that he did a better job getting the ball, hitting receivers in stride and things like that very easily. Better in this game overall than he did in that previous meeting. That previous meeting, I felt that outside of the second quarter, I was like, man, this guy's not that accurate. I mean, guys are making catches, but they're having to work for some of these catches, where unnecessarily. Whereas I felt that he didn't have as much of that in this game, where receivers were having to work to make the catches.
Yep. Jesse Caldwell says, being physical, they beat them boys up. Andre Shorter from YouTube, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it. Let's get into the next segment here, just called our Overreaction Monday. And Dev, we haven't heard from you. Let's go into this Overreaction Monday. Regardless of what happens, win, lose, or draw, what's your overreaction based off what we saw on Monday night? Actually, this is Overreaction Tuesday on Monday. Overreaction Monday on Tuesday. There you
go. Man, Heineke's the shit. But I felt like if Wentz would have played, Wentz would have 400 yards on these guys, dog. Because there's a couple, like the pass up the sideline of McLaurin. If he had an arm, that's a touchdown. The pass up the sideline to Samuels at the first throw of the game, and that was completely underthrown. He had to come back.
Yep.
For that,
the pick was
like that guy was gone up the sideline. The pass that intercepted. McLaurin broke free behind him. He had to slow down and turn around and come get the ball. And so there's a couple things I seen that went probably would have been more successful, but I'm gonna give it to Heinicke, man. There's something. That guy has something, man. You can't really quantify it with stats, but there's something
moxie.
there, man.
It's called
you
moxie.
Definitely can't quantify it with stats or arm strength.
The Moxie Mamba strikes again, man. By the way, I agree with Phil. I think this game Hurts did everything he could in the game. They let him down, man. In the interception was a hell of a play. I think the turnovers let him down by his teammates. It happens. I think Philly's still a better team than us, even though we beat them. I think that we are a matchup problem, Philly, in the same way we were a matchup problem 2 years ago for Pittsburgh. Like, you go into the game, you can kind of tell, like, man, Washington, if they get the shit together, they will be hard to beat because they're going to run the ball and they're going to play sound defense. And anytime a team can do those two things, you're in the game. So if you compound that with a team making 4 uncharacteristic, they had 3 turnovers all year, bro. They had 3 turnovers all year. They had 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 turnovers.
No, just 3. Just 3.
They only had 4, but either way.
Yeah.
Mike coming in, and now they left with 6.
Mike Rivera is the only coach in NFL history to defeat the last undefeated teams, and both teams were in Pennsylvania. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
On Monday Night Football at that.
Yep. Owen said, Washington O-line punched us in the mouth, and we had no response. I think Jimmy Kempski mentioned that, if you remember, Phil, as one of his, Dev, as one of his keys to the game was our offensive line, and defensive line for that matter, because it's been night and day since the first matchup. Andre says a lot of fans seem to be giving Heinicke all the credit and none to the running game or the defense. That's what we call the hive. The hive is live.
And I hate this because whenever we lose, they won't. It's Scott Turner's fault. It's the offensive line's fault. Look, Heinicke is a flawed quarterback. I came to this conclusion. This is how I'm gonna believe going forward until Taylor proves me wrong. Either way, Carson Wentz is better as a professional NFL quarterback than Taylor Heinicke. I think that is indisputable.
He just can't stay healthy.
But I think that Taylor Heinicke is a better quarterback for Scott Turner to manage because his limitations force Scott Turner to call a more diverse game. I think that Scott Turner knows he can't throw the ball 50 times a game like he wants to with Wentz. He wants to throw the ball. All right. I'm getting all blurry here because I'm blowing people away by saying Taylor Heineke is better at something.
I thought it was a Mary Jane. I'm sorry.
No, not you. That was my camera. But Taylor Heineke forces Scott Turner to be more diverse in how he calls the game and not lean on the quarterback to win the game for you. All right. You can't lean on Taylor Heineke to carry you for 60 minutes.
No.
You can lean on him in moments.
The last 5 minutes of the game.
Last 5 minutes of the game, maybe.
That's
but
your boy.
You don't lean on him for 60 minutes. And I think that Scott Turner knows that, so he calls a completely different game. And because he calls a completely different game, he calls a better game. Now, he's not – I'm not – Scott Turner still has his flaws as a play caller. But he's a better play caller with Taylor because he doesn't lean on the quarterback as much. And I think that this helps us moving forward.
Yeah.
So Ron Rivera hinted in the press conference today. He wouldn't tip his hand, but he basically said it. It's Heineke going forward until Heineke blows his opportunity.
He has a short leash. He has a 1-game leash. The first bad game he has.
Man, he's playing Houston and Atlanta, man.
Depends.
I think Atlanta. By the way, I think Atlanta's a trap game.
If Heineke has a bad game and we win, Heineke's still going to be quarterback. If Heineke has a bad game and we lose,
he had a bad game. We won yesterday. Honestly,
he had a bad game yesterday. He had a very middling game.
Heineke did everything he could to lose that game, bro. Like the interception, you didn't have to throw one because the dude was wide open in the middle of the field. You know, just like the fumble, which really, I guess you can't. That's Lennell's fault.
I mean, Dev, you're looking at the stats. You're right. It was a standard Taylor Heineke game.
Right. It was just a basic game.
Sub 60%
211 yards, 7.3, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 3 sacks.
Right. Y'all tell me Wentz could have done that. Y'all don't think Wentz could have done that?
No, he could have, but he wouldn't have gotten the benefit of the run game. He would not have gotten the benefit of a running attack
because he would have had to pass the ball 50
Taylor
times.
did.
So
what Scott was like, my strong arm quarterback's back there. He can throw the ball deep. I'm going to throw the ball 45 times instead of running it 45 times.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying if Scott had been, I agree with Phil. If Scott had used the same game plan with Wentz, I think we would have had 40-something points.
Oh, yeah.
Like, granted, you know that Philly wouldn't have played it the same. But I'm just saying that because some of those passes he threw, like the one down the right sideline to McLaurin, wide open, and the one up the sideline left side to Samuel was wide open. Like he had to literally slow down and stop catch the ball, man. That shit's got to stop, man. And I like I said, I'm for Taylor, man. But man, if you need somebody to go 50 deep, then you're gonna have a problem. Somebody got to make a play for Taylor, man. He's not gonna make the play for the receiver.
And so Mean Green. So now that you're on this show, give us your overreaction Monday from your point of view, from your perspective, from your team. What is a blatant overreaction?
The Eagles are not going to win a division.
Ooh, that's tough.
Unless they clean up their run defense.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the remaining teams, let me break it down. You've got the Colts, Jonathan Taylor. You've got Derrick Henry. You've got Saquon Barkley twice.
Runners.
You've got Aaron Jones with Green Bay. Let's take it there real quick. When you look at the teams that weren't supposed to win this weekend, what did they all do? They ran the ball.
Yeah.
Tom Brady ran the ball with his team. Aaron Rodgers ran the ball with his team. They won. Washington ran the ball effectively and won the game. Real quick, let's run it down because you brought up something earlier, Steve, when you were running down the stats. All of their rushing yards, they were averaging, like you said, like 3 yards a pop. They finished the game with 152 yards on 49 attempts. 49 attempts on 152 yards. The way that they were running the ball, you would have thought that they would have ran over 200 yards.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's like the receiving yards and the rushing yards were kind of flip-flop, but the reason why the receiving yards were so much is because when you're bringing those guys up to the line because you think they're going to run and you're hitting them with the play action, those guys are wide open. Terry
basically out Philly. He does that. That's what they're known for. That's what they do. They set you up with those quick screens and those quick handoffs, and then all of a sudden, dude got down deep over the middle.
Terry had a phenomenal game, hands down. He had every right to sit there, be hyped up, be excited, get in everybody's face and everything because I'm sorry, but he destroyed Slye. Slye was nowhere to be found last night. He was nowhere.
I'll tell you, I got a question for you, Mean Green.
What's up?
What is the thing that since we're at week 10, what is the thing about your team that you know now that you did not know week 1?
Honestly, everything that they performed last night was everything that I knew about that team. They have a terrible run defense. It just got worse when Jordan Davis got out.
Yeah.
We know that they're not a second half team, and they proved it last night because they've never been in that situation where they had to come back. First time this season where they had to lead. Where they lost the lead. They didn't lead into this second half, and they had to play catch up. And then when they started to come back, they started making even more mistakes. It's like you're trying to get back into the game, but you're making mistakes. And y'all said it. Jalen Hurts did everything he had to do in order to win that game.
Yeah.
His teammates didn't help him out. His teammates did not help him out at all. And I mean, you got to clean that stuff up. When your quarterback is out there, putting the game on his back, you got to be able to be there for him. And they just were not there for him. And I'm happy that at the end of the game, Nick Sirianni, he didn't blame one of the referees. He basically told everyone in the press conference, like, no, we lost this game together. We won it. We went 8-0 together. We lost this game together, and we will continue to move forward together. And that's how you have to do it. You got to pick yourself up, and you got to keep on moving forward because it's not like you lost a playoff game.
Yeah.
It's a regular season game. You lost one game. You got to
think
moving
about
forward
the
and go
celebration in our locker room. We won the Super Bowl, but that was kind of funny.
Oh,
although Nick Sirianni did take a shot at Art Monk pregame. He said,
he took a shot at Art Monk after the last game.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it was.
He said Mike Quick was a greater receiver than Art Monk. All right.
Terry started off his press conference with, I'd like to thank Art Monk.
Who said that?
You've been a great mentor to me.
Great Sirianni.
Say the coach. I think it was just a shot because Mike Quick he does the play-by-play for Eagles broadcasts. That's why he's beloved up there. We'll get to comments, then we'll get to Phil here real quick. Marcus says Taylor Heineke's a poor man's poor star. Jimmy Garoppolo. Aaron says, nah, Heineke's staying.
He got a better hairline.
Ben Harlow, thanks for joining from Facebook. Said Scott Turner did a good job as the motions and different looks. This is what Phil was talking about. You need to keep this up. Even with Wentz, when Wentz comes back, you have to keep this up. We saw this in week 1. It disappeared, and now it's back. So Andre said, by the way, Mean Green, welcome, brother. At least you're not a Cowgirls fan, so you're cool in my book. There you go. You got the Andre Shorter endorsement. Then said, Eagles won't. They didn't play anyone hard on the record this year. Dev made that comment too. I think Minnesota now is probably the best team, one of the best teams they played all season. Marcus says the Eagles will be better when Jordan Davis comes back in 2 weeks. I was terrified when they drafted. We did a live stream here during the draft, and when I saw Jordan Davis to the Eagles, I was just the first round, I think.
Yeah. First round, we moved up.
Man,
we moved up in front of Baltimore.
There you go.
Baltimore was going to get them.
Phil, give us your overreaction, man. Where's your head at right now?
The entire NFC East is going to the playoffs.
Oof, it's possible.
That's my overreaction. If we play the way we did, here's the thing: a lot of people going into this game, I had people tell me, "Well, we could be just very easily, instead of 4-5, 1-8. We could have lost to the Bears easily. We could have lost to the Colts easily. Could have lost to
Jags.
No, not the Jags. Who's the first team that Taylor beat? God, why can't I remember?
You talking about for us? Taylor beat Chicago, right?
No,
that was Chicago.
No, he beat Green Bay. Green Bay.
People said we should have lost to Green Bay too.
Y'all should have beat the Vikings.
If you think about it,
Right.
we
Tennessee
we
too.
had an opportunity to beat the Vikings and the Titans. We could just as easily be 7-3 right now. Now, can you imagine? Because that doesn't affect anybody else in the NFC East. Can you imagine what the NFC East would look like if we were 7-3 right now?
No.
Can you imagine?
I can imagine that because
Chase
now that you
Chase
have
Young ain't back yet.
now that you have 7 teams that can go into the playoffs, one division alone can go into the playoffs. And just by you saying that, it's like, especially if everyone splits in a division.
See, we look. We still have 2 games against the Giants. Who the Giants have been living on the better side of the same type of games we have, where it's close. We've been splitting these close games. They haven't. Minnesota hasn't. If we can learn to take some of these close games, we can easily split the Giants. Cowboys don't scare me if we play this like we did last night, because I have thought that Philly was better than Dallas because they have a better offense. I think that if we play a game plan similar to what we saw last night going forward, you can be a little more dynamic against some of the weaker defenses you play. We're not good enough to say any team in front of us is a cakewalk, which is actually good because it keeps you focused week to week. Ron even said he was going to get on some of the younger players being a little too excited to win last night. Says you got a lot of football left. I think it is really plausible you see the entire NFC East with 10 wins. It's very easy to see that happening.
When was the last time we saw that?
You've never seen it. You've seen it with 3 teams go 10 wins. You saw that a lot, actually, in the 80s and early 90s. 3 teams with 10 wins in the NFC East. 4? It could happen. And that would be amazing because that means that we were competitive in the toughest division in the NFL. We're competitive now. The entire division's at 500 or better. I mean, say it's your worst team is 5-5. That's impressive. We'd be winning the NFC South.
Sure would.
I mean, these are the things that make me go, well, maybe we got a chance.
Yep. Marcus says his overreaction. Players thinking we are Super Bowl contenders and we overlook the Texans. That's right. Texans been playing hard, man. We can't lose that game. I know it's
Ron already addressed that.
To give me, yeah, he said he had to put them in place. He said we have not yet arrived and stop acting like we have. Sure thing. Owen says, who is Washington going to start when Wentz comes back? This is the debate we've been having, and I think the consensus is if Wentz is declared healthy, which I believe he technically is, you ride with Heineke till he has a bad game, and then you play Wentz. I think we're safe, and we might already be under his 70% threshold for the money purposes, for the draft.
You finna hear we're on a short week. We need more time to evaluate Wentz's injury. That's
17 games is like 13. There's no way he
can. So I think you need to ride with Heineke because here's the problem.
It's close.
I was going to bring this up if we had won anyway, but I'm going to still bring this up. Taylor Heineke, to me, should have been starting after that game he played against Tom Brady in the playoffs because they should have won that game. They almost won that game. You all get some quality quarterbacks, and then y'all let them go. The one quarterback that I swear that y'all should have never let go to this day, and y'all probably gonna hate me for this, but I thought he was an awesome quarterback to me. Jason Campbell. Y'all should have never let Jason Campbell go.
I like Jason Campbell. I was a Jason Campbell backer. I think that Jason Campbell got hit so much he became gun shy, and he did have the longest looping delivery ever. I mean, he brought that ball from here down to his hip, all the way back here, and then he threw it. I swear to God, that guy got strip sacked with his hand out about here in the mid throw more than any quarterback I've ever seen. That's just a mechanics thing. I mean, but that's a mechanics thing. I have serious problems with Taylor Heineke's mechanics too. I liked Jason Campbell. I liked him because he was a big arm quarterback. He was a very typical Gibbs quarterback too. Big arm, tall, stood in the pocket.
4 offensive coordinators in his first 5 years. You go back to college, he had 6 offensive coordinators going. His last 2 years of college, he had 2 offensive coordinators. So 6 offensive coordinators in 7 years total. Or
7 years.
Yeah, crazy.
His best year was 2009 when he threw for 36-18, 20 touchdowns and 6. No, he actually had 15 interceptions, but he still had a decent year that year.
Yeah.
But when they let him go, because I always said this back in the day, if you got shipped to Cleveland, you basically would say your career was over. And I just felt like when he got to Cleveland, it was just a bad move for him. I was just like, why did they let him go?
And then LA or the Raiders.
They went to the Raiders. RG3, I just thought RG3 had too much hype coming out of Baylor. Kirk Cousins, he just, they knew what they were getting out of Kirk because they were just like, hey, we're gonna have RG3, and then we're gonna have Kirk Cousins on the back end. Kirk Cousins and the general manager.
You guys for a while.
Kurt and the general manager just didn't get along at that time.
Kirk and the coach didn't get along.
Nobody got along with the general manager, man.
No, Bruce Allen and Jay Gruden, neither one of them wanted Kirk. Jay Gruden had a love affair with Colt McCoy.
Because every time I think of Kirk Cousins, I always will never forget December 26th, 2015, Saturday Night Football. Y'all won the division.
It was the kneel down. It was the kneel down game, but we still came back and won.
I was there. I was there too. I was there with my wife, looking like a sad puppy, and I was like, you know what? It's fourth quarter. They're about to score again. We're going to the car, and we did.
That's when Deshaun had a big game.
Sean had a huge game.
Yeah.
We have Pierre Garçon on here talking about that one day.
We did. All right, Dev, let's keep the show moving. Let's start with you. Good, bad, ugly, great, and then we'll get to an award here in a second.
The good is our defense creating 4 turnovers. Actually, I take that back. That's the great. I'll start backwards. The great is our 4. The good, nobody's brought up, is Tress Way basically saving the game, and no one's even thought about this. Dude saved about 3 bad long snaps on field goals. Did y'all watch that? He caught like 2 up here and brought them back down. Another one he caught outside and brought it back in. He caught 3, including the 58-yard kick in swirling wind by Joey Slye. So that's my good. The bad, Heineke underthrowing open touchdowns, man.
Yep.
We survived that shit today, but tomorrow, man, I'm telling you, that's the only thing I don't like about Heineke. It's also the thing I do love about him. I love the fact that he believes his guys and will give him an opportunity. But damn it, sometimes you don't have to do that, man. Just win the game. You know how much we would have been, how hard a podcast this would have been today if he had, just thrown those, if the dumbass Watkins just gave them the ball back at the end of the game. How dumbass Heineke would have looked today, man. Like you wouldn't be able to get Wentz off the R fast enough if that had happened. So that's my good, bad, and my ugly, man. The ugly.
What would you grade?
Turnovers. What's that?
Great?
Great was the defense, 4 turnovers. Good was Tress Way catching those long snaps from the snapper. And then the bad was obviously Taylor Heineke's whack ass arm. He's like a great value Colt McCoy.
For those listening, put yours in the chat. Good, bad, ugly, great in the chat. We'll fill, then we'll go over to Mean Green for from an Eagles perspective, and I'll close this one out. Go ahead, Phil.
Good.
Oh man,
the good was Joey Slye hitting 2 50-plus yard field goals, and really, until that last touchdown at the end, that was really your difference. Was Joey Slye hitting those field goals. Otherwise, we're down 21-20. So, that's good. The bad was Taylor with some underthrows for sure. Those were some bad throws. I mean, luckily, because he's not throwing the ball that much, you don't see too much of it. Again, you mitigate the negatives. The ugly was some of the snaps. Both Tyler Larson putting one over Heineke's head, and then Cheeseman with some high snaps on those field goals.
Hey, by the way,
was
Dude
ugly.
said earlier on that snap that somebody had said that Wentz wouldn't have got that back. He's not athletic enough to think about turn around. Man, Wentz is 6'5". It wouldn't have went over his head. Shut the fuck up. That's dumb. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's stupid.
There's truth to
You know
this. There's truth to this.
I mean, it wouldn't
But
work.
anyway, just the deep snapping was kind of ugly last night. The great
That's what she said.
time of possession on both sides. You know, that's a team game because it's the defense getting off the field quickly. It was the offense maintaining drives, and it was, you know, Philly never got into a rhythm because of it. And if Philly is a rhythm team, if they once they start feeling it, it's just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
They didn't get that. All right. And that is a team effort. All right. That is team effort. So I can't even say it's one side, one group. The ball control aspect. And that is a unified group because this was the ultimate in a team win. It was a great running game. B-Rob, Antonio Gibson, they combined for 40 carries last night. 40. All right. That's how you keep the ball out of the opposing offense's hands. It also helps when your defense gets the opposing offense off the field, whether by forcing fumbles, forcing punts, whatever the case may be. So the ball control.
There we go. Mean Green. Give it to us from an Eagles perspective.
Oh gosh, you really want this?
Yes.
The good was quite honestly, it wasn't really anything good. But no, seriously, the good was Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts just continuing to, you know, be who he is, showing that he had put in the work of being, you know, a good quarterback this year, and showing that he has put in the work of, you know, making sure that he's fundamentally putting the ball where it needs to be. The bad was the turnovers and the penalties.
Yeah.
The bad, that was the bad. The ugly was the defense. The defense looked ugly because they were the ones that committed most of the penalties, and they just could not stop the run. They just could not stop the run. And what was great about it?
Kind of great.
Well, the great is that they didn't let this beat them down.
Yeah.
I will say that. The great about this was they said, you know what? We took this one on the chin. We got knocked out. You know, hey, we lost the belt. You know, we're gonna go back out there and keep on fighting. That's the one thing I can say about it, you know, being great. You know,
Yep.
They didn't let this bring them down.
This is a thinking segment. Even in the worst of days, we still try to come up with the great. Marcus says, the good, our coach is calling a good game. Bad, Heineke turning the ball over. Great defense turning the ball over, and Joey Slye. Owen says the good for
Somebody
this
brought up
game
Air
is your
Force, by the way.
yeah. Well,
Air
game balls.
Force,
Get the game
yeah.
balls.
Oh,
Owen says the good for this game is your O-line. The great is your kicker, 58 and 55. That's correct. And Owen says there's no good or great from Eagles' perspective. The really, really, really bad was the run D for the defense. Aaron said, great defense. Good. Heineke saving that high snap. Key point in the game that would have been down 21-7. Ugly. Yeah. The ref's bad when Turner started getting cute with the play calling. There was a couple times you're like, Scott, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why?
I don't mind
Why?
doing it on occasion because sometimes it works.
Why?
You get things like a tight end reverse, like
Yeah.
we saw against Minnesota.
Yep.
27
My
yards on
good is
third.
a time of possession, just like you said, Phil. That was, you know, the total time possession for us was 40-24 to 1936. That's double. That's just a winning formula. Hold that thought. The bad was, Dev said it, Taylor's underthrowing and Taylor's ability. Lots of ducks over the middle, lots of balls sailing. I'm shocked that there wasn't a couple more picks. The ugly, I'm not premature celebrating, not the locker room, but the locker room that made me trigger this is celebrating, happy, all that time possession, the huge amount of running attempts that you just talked about, Phil, the total amount of running attempts we had, 49 to their 20. Total amount of plays we had to theirs was great. But even still, with 1 minute and 59 seconds left, we still had the opportunity to lose this game. It still almost happened when we had the fumble. Excuse me, when Quez Watkins fumbled that ball with 5 minutes and 42 seconds left. For all we know, Philly could have gone down and scored on that drive, and it would have been crazy. So we think we played a fantastic game. Philly played a not so good game, but with less than 5 minutes to go, it's a 1-score possession. So we're not as good as we think we are. We're happy we beat the 8-0 Eagles, but let's not get too crazy here. Even we played our best game of the season. They still
can I make you feel a little bit better about that, Steve?
Yes, please do.
Okay.
But my grade is Joey Slye 50-yard field goal.
Okay. I'm gonna make you feel a little bit better about this. Anybody else may feel this way too. I have watched probably more. I've gone back and watched more classic Redskins game than probably anybody in the comments on this channel, anything. Because I'm a nerd and that's what I do. This was okay. We think about how dominant the team was like in the 80s and the early 90s under Gibbs. We won a lot of games exactly like this, especially against teams like Philly, where it's like you look at it like we should have won this game by more. You know, kind of looking at it, you had 40 minutes of time possession. You only won by you only created a margin because you got that a touchdown on a fluke play like that. You saw that a lot, like with Gibbs, where they would dominate teams but only win by 1 score, maybe by 8 or 9. But nonetheless, it's still a dominating performance that puts the other team in a position where they have to do something big to win. So that was very much like that's very much how we saw. I mean, look, 3.5 yards a carry. That's how we won a lot of games.
That's true.
And you can feel better. You can feel better because you realize that even though the score doesn't reflect, oh my God, we went out there and beat them 40-0, and that's always fun.
Yep.
But you're not going to get that in division games like this. We're not built to do that. So this is a dominating win in terms of how he played the game. And when we play lesser opponents than the Eagles, you play this way, you will win by 2 scores, 3 scores, just off of the fact that your intensity and your play did not decrease, but the quality of your opponent did.
Yep.
So we may see. Now, I'm not saying we're going to blow anybody out, but you may see it later this season if we keep.
Statistically speaking, though, Scott Taylor will probably throw for 40 yards, 40 attempts next game because that's what Scott does. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's move on to our next segment.
Don't listen to him, Scott. Don't listen to him.
Next segment, let's turn this over to Dev, and we're going to hand out an award. And to introduce that, we'll introduce the new segment called the Glock Dookie Award.
Glock Dookie.
So if you guys have your own version of a Glock Dookie Award you think this award should go to, put it down in the chat. Dev, you got the mic.
Glock Dookie Award winner is easy this week, man. It is definitely Brandon Graham. You dumb ass. I don't explain. I heard a theory about it today on Twitter said that he looked like he was just trying to touch him to get that sack. You know what I'm saying? Because he's the closest man to the guy. But I'm like, dude, he's on the ground. Not only slide to give up or sit down to give up. One guy had already touched him, and he took another knee, and then he went. You know, it wasn't egregious, and I feel bad because I really hate that the game ended like that. But I love that the game ended like that, man. It's just such a dumbass way to lose. You know what I'm saying? And really, that's why I said to you earlier, Green, that Philly is still better than Washington, man. Just because they lost to us doesn't mean anything, man. Because really, just dumbass reasons why you guys lost. Fumbling balls that are wide open touchdowns or are definitely 40-yard bombs, and then you slide and hit the quarterback who's just sitting there to waste time. Like, you deserve to lose when that happens. That's the kind of ways we lose. You know what I'm saying? Y'all out Washington. and we out Philly. That's how we won. It's really weird. But I'll take it.
I'm surprised you chose that one because my Glock Dookie award was Jonathan Gannon.
Jonathan,
Your
who's
defensive
that?
coordinator, right?
Yep.
You think so? What could he have done differently?
He could have had a better game plan on stopping the run. He could have made sure that his.
While we're at it, though, let's look at this last
Oh
play.
God, we got to relive this.
Yes.
Look, he's already down. Look, the first
Right
guy touched
here
him.
at the
He
end.
is down. Like,
Tough
what
call.
is this extra?
I mean, a tough
hot sauce
call.
you're putting on it?
It's the right call, but
Yeah.
you can see that
Yeah, look, it's over.
he gave himself up. Brandon
Okay.
Graham, the game's on the line. He's trying to make
He
a
knew
play.
immediately.
And
He
it looked
slid
like
and
he's
looked up
trying
at
to
the
hold
dude.
on
One,
to
two,
the
three,
end
four.
of it and not hurt him.
Look,
Right, but
look
the
at him.
head
You got
is
me.
protected.
You got me.
Does give himself up.
Look at that
It
moxie.
is a foul by rule.
Look at that moxie.
Yeah, that's the white mamba.
The problem though
We
is
have a running joke on here in Green. The only white guys get moxie. They're the only ones with that adjective. You never seen a black guy do anything. He has moxie. Nobody says Lamar
No.
Jackson has moxie.
nope. Just
Taylor Heineke looked like Bobby Boucher when he was getting up, after that excitement. Slap hands, slap hands.
the problem was though, a lot of people on Twitter were talking about this, and you could hear it if you listen closely in that clip. The whistle didn't blow until after Brandon Grant hit him. So initially, people were saying he was playing for the whistle, and he came around the corner late. He might not have seen Taylor take a knee that he thought maybe he was trying to get up, and that's why he went after him, but had to let up at the last second. So I don't know.
Bottom line is this. I mean, yes, you play to the whistle blows, but if he takes a knee, you stop. If he all of a sudden decides to get back up, you're close enough to hit him back down anyway. So it's just one of the things where it's just like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. But at the end of the day, my award still goes out to Jonathan Gannon because he just called
your comment for you. There you go.
He called a pissed ass defensive game plan, and it is what it is.
Oh man, that's awesome. All right, last segment here. Let's give out some game balls. Mingo, let's start with you. Let's give us some Philadelphia game balls. Give us one for your offense and one for your defense.
So this is an easy one. Giving a game ball to Jalen Hurts on the offense, and I'm giving the defensive game ball. I'm giving it to CJ Garner because he's got 6 picks in the last 5 games. He's balling out.
He's good.
It was a late trade that we picked up, before the regular season even started. Like he didn't even get a chance to play with him in training camp. And the fact that he has bought into the system and he's doing what he has to do is freaking phenomenal. He's going to cost some money, so hopefully we can keep him. But at the end of the day, he's looking like a Pro Bowl safety right now, and that's one of the things that we've missed.
Because he's a rental.
What are y'all gonna pay Hurts, man? He up next year? He wasn't the first round pick. He didn't get the 5th-year option, right?
So he didn't get the 5th-year option. He is up next year, but the way that they're talking right now, because he's doing a phenomenal job this year, they're talking about giving him an extension after the end of this year.
Well, he was in the 2020 draft, 2nd round.
Yeah.
So 2020, 21.
Just one more year.
One more year. Next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Next year is his final year, but they're talking about giving him an extension after this season.
Expensive, boy. He's gonna be expensive.
Phil, who you got?
He's already got promotions. He's got Columbia, so he's got the jackets going on right now. So
he ain't
he
taking
got the
no
gold
pay
line
cut,
jacket.
bro.
I saw the
He
commercial.
ain't taking no pay cut. I seen that to the little. What are you smiling at? I seen the commercial. It was pretty funny. I ain't gonna lie. I like Hurts, man. I've been a Hurts fan since Alabama, man. I'm not gonna lie though. I thought that Hurts. I didn't think Hurts would be good at Alabama. I thought he was at Alabama. I was like, no way, this guy goes to the NFL as a quarterback. Probably is going to go play something else. And then when he went to Oklahoma, I was like, he might can play a little bit. And then I hope we drafted him. We didn't, obviously, but I do like Hurts.
Okay, Phil, game balls.
I want to give one to Brian Robinson Jr.
Rob.
Now, I know people are going to say, well, 26 carries. He only had 86 yards. I'm going to remind you of something, all right? And I'm going to pull up this number because I want to make sure I state this correctly, all right? Back in 2012, The first game we saw with one Alfred Morris, right? When everybody was like, "Oh my God, we got a running back." He had 28 for 96. So, which is not, you would think with 28 carries he'd have more. But we all went nuts because we're like, hey, look at this guy. You don't have to put up a ton of rushing yards to be effective. His runs were effective. They were moving forward. You were getting first down. You were converting 3rd and 2 into first down. You were converting 3rd and 1 to first down by running the ball, which is something that we have not done. We've always thrown the ball because Scott Turner's an idiot. But he wasn't an idiot last night. He knew he had a guy. He knew he could do it. And guess what? You did it. You get those tough yards. Like I've been telling people, John Reagan's made a living off of 3.5 yards a carry. You can do this.
Yeah.
All right. And I will take those tough yards. And the fact that all of his runs were tough runs, it's not like he was getting outside and going out of bounds, just barely getting touched. No, he was getting hit. He was getting
he was keeping guys on the center line
every play. That beats on you and have that kind of endurance. You get a game ball for me any day.
There you go. What about who you see on defense?
Oh, shoot. Defense. I didn't even think of that. I was so hyped about defense. Derek Forrest.
Derek Forrest. Good. That's a good one.
Derek Forrest had a pick, fumble recovery. You get 2 turnovers on defense. You're getting a game ball for sure. So, yeah, Derek Forrest is a big play guy. And I'm glad he's back because he does give our secondary big play ability that they do not have without him. Like just somebody who's not necessarily, he's ball hawking. He always finds himself around the ball, whether it's defending passes, whether it's making tackles, timing hits, blowing dudes up. I mean, that's just Derek Forrest is a playmaking safety for sure.
Yeah.
Not the fastest guy, but he makes those plays, and I'm a big fan of Derek Forrest, and I'm hoping and I believe this will continue. And as he gets more and more time on the field, remember he's still young. More and more time on the field, he's going to be getting even smarter about reading coverages, catching routes, and all that. You're going to see more plays like that.
Yep. Aaron
Goody!
Damon Davis on defense. Owen says CJ is our safety for the next 4 years. You got to pay him. Yeah.
You got to pay him. Owens is right about that one. You got to pay him.
And then Aaron says, so defense for Jamin Davis, offense, Terry or B-Rob, pick one. Marcus said, game ball goes to Ron Rivera because he had to deal with his mother's passing and some more controversy with Tan Snyder. He deserved all the game balls. That's a good point. Good point. And our man, Paulie from the 757 Tidewater area. F you, Paulie. Hey, thanks for joining, man. We appreciate you. man, love you. Dev, game balls. Unmute.
Oh, man. Game balls. I'm going to go offensively. I'm going to go with Joey Slye, basically.
That's defense.
No, Joey Slye's a kicker. That's offense.
I'm going by fantasy where it's defense/special teams, but it's your game balls. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going with Joey Slye. Forget your rules, Steve. I don't know.
It's your game
I'm
balls.
a stud, bro.
This is yours.
This ain't I'm a stud. I gotta say so.
This is your
no. All right, I'm gonna go with Joey Slye on offense, and on defense, I don't want to use the same one Phil did, even though I said his name first. No, but I'm gonna go with Payne, man. A lot of pressure up the middle. Did a pretty good job against the run, man. For the most part, I think most of Philly's running yards came in the second half, and there was like a couple of just decent ones. Nothing that stumped us out. I was surprised at how little Hurts used his legs against us. I think some of that happened to be because of the pressure up the middle from Payne and Allen. So I'm gonna go Payne.
That's fair. Okay, I'm gonna go with offensive Terry. Nobody said Terry. He was Terry, 8 receptions, 28 yards, had that 41-yard bomb, 11 targets. Huh?
Marcus said it.
I know Marcus. I mean internally, I saw it here. And then defense, I was gonna say Joey Slye, defensive/special teams, but since you gave, Slye and his big old family stones a game ball, I'm gonna go on Jamin Davis, man. Yes, he had the face mask at the end. It didn't get called.
No, he didn't. What face mask? I ain't seen him called. Didn't exist.
He played a hell of a game. He's finally coming in his own. He's finally learning the ball. He played great in the Absico Holcomb, led the team in tackles, and he's starting to call the plays on defense too. So it was nice to see him, show up like that. Paulie says Forrest Curl McCain played all defensive snaps. I didn't know that.
Just so you know, because I've been screaming for us to run this game plan for weeks and it just proved that it works. I'm going to give this Washington game ball
to Scott Turner.
To me.
With your name.
Got my name on it.
Owen says Scary Terry, the Eagle Killer. Yeah.
I called it. I've been telling y'all this is how you win.
1-9 against the Eagles.
Period. Especially with Taylor Heineke right here. Make me offensive coordinator, damn it.
Did you get one of those new Taylor Heineke shirts, Steve? Jordan one?
I'm not getting I'm good. I got my legend Taylor Heineke. I'm good to go. I don't need any more shirts with Taylor Heineke. I got all the Taylor shirts I need, man. I got all the Taylor shirts.
I thought you were going to break it out today, Steve.
No, I'm good. Because he didn't have a good game. Why would I do that? It's only if he's got a good game. I wouldn't do it if he didn't. But hey, we're bringing this one to a close. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Big shout outs to everyone who joined the chat. You can say Paulie, Aaron Scherer, Owen Meehan, Marcus Edelin, Jesse Caldwell, Andre Shorter, Ben Harlow, Josh Kirby, Chris McDaniel, Mr. Titan, Jason Horn, Jimmy Lee Patterson, and I don't know if I said Chris McDaniel, missed that or not. And shout out to our boy Terrance Perry, Mean Green. Thanks for kicking it with us, man. It's always good to kick it with another fellow NFC East fan. Our games are done for the year. We split 1-1. I guess that's the best we could both ask for. We both have different paths to go on to get to the end of the season. So I don't know, maybe the best team finish right now. I would love to see the odds of you guys winning the division versus everyone else. It's still got to be pretty damn high as opposed to everyone else. But hey, best of luck to you guys, and maybe we'll see you in the postseason. Or
it's possible.
It is possible.
We'll see if we end up seeing you guys for the divisional championship. We got some problems. You guys got some problems. But yeah, you got any shout outs to give before we close out?
Yeah, man. Shout out to my lovely wife, Adrian. Shout out to my family who was on here supporting me, my sister-in-law, my nephew. Shout out to my buddies on Eagles Nation. We'll go ahead. We'll post a link in the comments below. Go ahead, hit us up. We talk football, basketball, everything. It doesn't matter what team you are. We just like to, shoot the breeze with everyone around there and everything. But again, prayers go out to the families and the victims in Virginia, most definitely. And shout out to my buddy Steve. Thank you again for allowing me to, be on here. Phil, Dev, it's been an awesome pleasure, man. Hopefully, I hope we can, kick it again on doing some like barbershop chats and everything because I freaking enjoy this, man. This is freaking awesome, man. I really enjoy this, man. This is fun.
We'll do it. Owen says, Steve, great job with you and your buddies. I'll be back next Eagles game. All right. There you go. Best of luck to you guys.
I got a shout out to Governor Andrew Scherer for making our state legal January the 1st. Motherfucker, just wait. All right, but it's only for medical, but luckily for me, I have sickle cell. You gotta be black to have that. Forever. But we are definitely
one of y'all got sickle cell or something?
Sickle cell.
Dang, Pac.
Damn, you see how he hit me with a hit him up? You see how he hit him up? One of y'all got sickle cell or something. I hope we don't get, I hope the Mean Green podcast don't, write a diss song about us. They're going to bring up my afflictions. But yeah, shout out to Governor Beshears, man. Medical marijuana coming soon to Kentucky January 1st. Can't wait. Not that it mattered to me anyways. I smoked anyways. That's what I meant by that. But
hey.
That's it.
Smoke weed every day.
Yeah. Every day and night.
That's why he wants to move Cam Sims to safety.
Still want to move Cam Sims to safety.
That's 3 there. You got any shout outs, Dev? You doing?
He did. He
good?
shut out the governor.
Yeah, Governor Beshears, man. That's the guy. Uncle Governor. Whatever his name is. Andy.
Big L. All right, Phil, what you got?
First of all, shout out to Terrance for joining us once again. Always fun to have. an Eagles fan on here that I can actually coexist with. It's not frequent. Shout out to the Heineke Hive. Whatever you see in 58% completion percentage, that makes you think that he is Jesus Christ reincarnated, the second coming. It's always nice to see people happy. We should all be happy. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the entire fan base. This was a team win. This should be a fan base win. All right. Shout out to also my lovely girlfriend who had to put up with me not talking to her last night because I was too busy watching the game.
Shame on you.
My silence was because of just me being focused. So shout out to her, working hard, taking care of people's vision. So those are my shout outs for the evening.
Cool.
That's
All right,
well, Mean Green. Phil married Spa, so we're all tapped. We're all bugged now. You're caught on the Operation Pegasus or whatever that thing was on the Snowden thing. I watched Phil. Spa, man. You seen Born Supremacy?
I have. That's why.
Yeah.
That's Phil, man.
Hey, Andre says, shout out to Jeff Cage. You're a bitch and you know it. So that's an inside joke.
God,
hold on. There's history with this. Jeff Cage is going on. Like, if you say anything bad about Taylor Heineke, he said that Carson Wentz is your man crush. And he makes me say things that, like, I don't want to say because now I'm deriding my fellow fans, and right now the starting quarterback of my team. But I told him, I said, dude, if people like you, I swear to God, y'all just love Taylor Heineke because he's got a limp arm and it's just like the limp sticks you like holding in your mouth. I mean, I said that to Jeff Cage.
Whoa, man, change the channel. What just happened?
We just got
put the women and kids to bed.
But I mean, it's like dudes like that, just like you bring out the worst in me. Don't do that.
Yeah, makes it hard to run a forward sometimes.
Because you need to watch Black Panther, man. You got to control your anger, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be consumed with vengeance, bro. Namor taught me that.
I'm Red Hulk.
Yeah.
I'm Red Hulk.
I'll be like Namor.
That's deep. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back Thursday night for our live stream. We'll be previewing the Houston Texans game for a Sunday performance against Big Giraffe Neck Davis Mills and Damian Pierce down in Houston. We taking this show to Houston and see how we do down there. I don't know what the opening line is, but we shall see.
Let's find out.
Who you guys got next week, Terrance?
Oh, we got Indianapolis.
Matt Ryan back.
Oh no, man!
Jeff Saturday.
Don't let him go 2-0, man. He cannot go 2-0.
And let's just Saturday going out there
from the TV booth to the field, he can't go 2-0.
Shocker! You want to hear the shock of the hour?
That Houston is favored to win this game.
We are opening as 3-point favorites.
What?
We're definitely losing. We are definitely losing Sunday for sure.
Yikes!
And that's in Houston. Take away the 3 points. 6-point favorites.
Yikes! Well, maybe yesterday's game changed it, but hey, we appreciate everyone for listening. We are on all your audio podcast platforms: Google, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey. Go hit the YouTube channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate it as we help the channel grow. Almost at 1,000 subs, so thank you for all the love and support. Go listen to that audio podcast. So when you're commuting, you're on the metro, you're on a train, you're on a plane, download it, listen to it. It's fun. It's always fun to listen to on the replay. The live show is always great, but so is the audio afterwards. So, hey, we appreciate everyone for the love and support. We'll see you guys Thursday night. Thank you for Mean Green for tuning in or for joining us. Please tune in Thursday. And as always, we love you. Peace and hail. We out.